Good morning, everybody. It's me, LisaT, coming at you with some positive energy, reading The Language of Letting Go by Beattie. Okay, so we are reading January 26th. Off the hook. Off the hook. You're off the hook. You're off the hook for being in control of everybody, for being, let's see. Okay, off the hook, January 26th. I'm having a weird phase today. I feel like I'm being pulled into my past self, and into past fears, and into something's coming up again for me. It's my journey is so like this, which is the healing journey. The healing journey is not linear. But when I am in this, like I recognize, I can remember, I'm so glad I do these videos, because when I was angry there about 3 weeks ago, it felt like that was going to be my now. It felt like that was going to last forever. It felt like that was not going to stop. It felt like, okay, now I'm just going to be like this forever. And so I'm so glad I did that video and shared that, because now in this weird morning today, in this weird last 24 hours for me, where I'm feeling pulled into my old self, negative thinking patterns, or, self-defeating thoughts, or beating up on myself. Because I've done that video, I can remember that this will not last. This too shall pass, right? So even though I'm feeling like in one of my down, if my healing journey is like this, I'm in maybe one of the valleys, so it's going to come up again. This too shall pass. Okay, off the hook. We can learn not to get hooked into unhealthy, self-defeating behaviors in relationship with yourself too. We can learn not to get hooked into unhealthy, self-defeating behaviors in relationships. Behaviors such as caretaking, controlling, discounting ourselves is a huge one for me, and believing lies. I believe my lies. I didn't even know I was telling myself lies. A belief is just a thought you think over and over and over. So if you think like, oh, I'm no good, or if you think, oh, they won't love me, or if you think, I'll never succeed, or whatever your thoughts are, if you think that over and over and over, it becomes a belief. So we believe a lie. It's not the truth. Behaviors such as caretaking, controlling, discounting ourselves, and believing lies. We can learn to watch for and identify hooks, and choose not to allow ourselves to be hooked. So maybe something come up for me in the last 48 hours that was like a hook. Identify the hooks, and then choose not to allow ourselves to be hooked. Oh, here's a hook. So say to yourself, oh yeah, here's a hook. I don't know what you can identify as your hook. Here's your hook. I'm starting to be hypervigilant about, I don't know, gosh, for me, my hair. Like, is it good enough? I always worry if it's good enough. So if I start to like get hooked into that, it can make me feel very fearful in the world and in relationships, because it tags on to the I'm no good. So recognize these hooks in your life. Maybe your hook is, I don't know, for a man, maybe you're like, oh, my muscles aren't big enough, or other parts aren't big enough. If you start getting on a loop on anything where you're defeating yourself, or telling yourself you're no good, or telling yourself they're not going to accept you, if you get in that hook, acknowledge it. This is just a hook, and I don't have to go there. Often people do things consciously or without thinking that pulls us into a series of our self-defeating behaviors we call codependency. So people do things consciously or without thinking. They do things without thinking, and that thing pulls them into self-defeating behaviors that is called codependency. So caretaking is a big one. If you're really concerned about how someone else is thinking and how someone else is feeling, and how what their perception is, and what they want and what they need, if you start getting hooked into that and forget about your own self and your self-care, then you can be getting hooked into a codependency behavior. More often than not, these hooks can be almost deliberate and the results predictable. Someone may stand before us and hint or sigh about a problem. knowing or hoping that hint or sigh will hook us into taking care of him or her. That is manipulation. So if you're in a relationship, a long-term relationship with anyone, like it can be a friend even, or a romantic relationship, or a family member, and they start, and in the past, you've been someone who always comes to the rescue for them, is always there for them. So all they have to do is one little thing, like, oh, I don't know, for me, for pain. If someone's in pain, I want to help. So that, I can be taken advantage of because I'm easy to jump to the rescue. So if someone is coming at you like that they're using it in an undeliberate form of manipulation, or maybe deliberate. When people stand around us and hint and sigh about something, then coyly say, oh, never mind, it's not for you to worry about. That's a game. We need to recognize it. We're about to get sucked in if we allow that to happen. We can learn to insist that people ask us directly for what they want and need. If we're gonna, and also we have to ask directly for what we want and need. If we can't give away what we don't have, so we have to. This is about boundary setting. Don't get hooked in, and we can request that people be deliberate with us. We can learn to insist that people ask us directly for what they want and need. What are the words, the signs, the looks, the hints, the cues that hook us into a predictable and often self-defeating behavior? What makes you feel sympathy? What makes you feel guilt? What makes you feel responsible for another? So you can look at that for yourself. What makes me feel guilty with another person? What makes me feel responsible for them? What is it that someone does that makes me feel real sympathy for them? Start to pay attention to this, and then you can know, oh, there, I'm going to get hooked. Our strong point is that we care so much. My gift and my curse. This is also what I was angry about there. That video was so powerful for me, such a changing moment. But I remember saying to my coworkers and to friends, like, okay, I'm done being kind. I'm done being thoughtful. I'm done because where does it get me? Nowhere, which is a lie. But I could see that, I'm a huge caretaker. I'm a huge caretaker. So it's a strong point, but also can be my weakness if I'm not looking at it. Our weak point is that we often underestimate the people with whom we're dealing. We underestimate them. They know what they're doing. It is time we give up our naive assumption that people don't follow agendas of their own in their best interest and not necessarily in ours. It is time that we give up the naive assumption that people don't follow agendas of their own in their best interest. So remember, people are looking out for their own best interests and not necessarily in ours. We also want to check ourselves out. Do we give out hooks, looks, hints, hoping to hook another? So look at our part in it too. What are we doing that hooks? I know in the past, I remember I played the victim. I played the victim a lot in the past. I played the victim, like, have pity on me. And then that way I can hook you. If I get you to have pity on me, I can hook you in. It's not healthy. It doesn't work, and it ends up blowing up in your face. So we also want to check ourselves out. Do we give out hooks, looks, hints, hoping to hook another? We need to insist that we believe in a direct and honest manner with others instead of expecting them to rescue us. We're going to rescue ourselves from here on in. If someone wants something from us, insist that the person ask us directly for it. Require the same for ourselves. If someone baits the hook, we don't have to take the bait. Here's your prayer for today. Ooh, this is a big one. For me, this is going to be some good work. Okay, prayer. Today, I will be aware of the hooks that snag me into the caretaking acts that leave me feeling victimized. I will ignore the hints, looks, and words that hook me in and wait for the directness and honesty I and others deserve. Frickin' man. This is a good one to go out and do your work today. Check it out. Become aware. What hooks you in and what hooks do you throw out? Thanks for watching.